Hannah Hamilton's Horrid Hullabaloo by Mary Anna Usler. This series is dedicated to all the wonderful Hewitt girls I was privileged to teach, with a special thanks to Savannah Rosen for her invaluable help. Chapter 6, Ghost Rules. As quickly as the pandemonium started, it ended. The quiet after the deafening noise left Hannah, Grace, and Andrew staring at one another, frozen to the spot. "See what you've done?" Andrew roared, breaking the silence. Hannah surveyed the room. The floor was covered with debris. Chairs were overturned. Books had tumbled from the shelves, littering the colorful carpeting. Shreds of glass from a coffee maker had flown off the windowsills. One of the drapes had loosened from the rod, and it was tangled in a pillow, decorated with frogs dancing on a lily pad. What struck Hannah as strange was that the dollhouse was still intact. Then she noticed that Grace and Andrew were holding it down, although the miniature dining room table had slid out of place. "Hannah didn't do anything," Grace said firmly. "It's Marla's fault." "You know Marla?" Hannah asked. "I know Marla. Marla hangs around the hospital waiting for young people to die so she can steal their souls before they realize what's happening. She was after me at first, but I managed to escape." "And now she's found you," Andrew said, releasing his grip on the dollhouse. "How long can I hide?" Hannah asked, not able to keep the worried tone out of her voice. "For an eternity," Andrew mumbled. "Isn't there any way we can defeat her?" Hannah wondered. The looks with Grace and Andrew exchanged made the answer clear enough. "Well, at the very least," Hannah said, "maybe we should try and pick up this place. I would hate for the librarian to come in and see this mess." "Where have you been?" Andrew snapped. "Ghosts can move objects, but they can't pick up things." "I didn't know that," Hannah snapped right back. "And as to where I've been alive." "Well, you're dead now," Andrew said, "so you better get used to the ghost rules." Whatever they are, Hannah thought. One thing that was clear to Hannah was that Andrew didn't like her any more than she liked him. Maybe he was jealous of her because it had just been he and Grace, and now Hannah was going to upset that balance. Daylight streamed through the crooked blinds, and when Hannah looked around, she realized that Grace and Andrew had both left. She heard the school coming alive, stomping up the stairs, the groan of the boiler, the smell of fresh coffee, and a horrific scream as the librarian entered the room. Her tag read Mrs. Danverglass. A skinny woman, she wore her straw-like blonde hair straight, her makeup heavy, not quite disappearing into her pores, and her orange lipstick slightly askew. She stood horrified and transfixed as she surveyed the room. "Oh my God!" she shrieked. "What happened? Basil, come here immediately!" Basil was in no rush. It took him several minutes to enter the library carrying a dirty mop. Slightly overweight, slightly sweating, with small, watery eyes and a pointed nose, he shook his bald head. Hannah thought that he resembled a hard-boiled egg, with his shiny scalp and alabaster skin. "Must have been the wind," he shrugged. "What are you talking about?" Mrs. Danverglass almost toppled down face forward over a smashed globe. "The windows are all closed." "Maybe somebody opened them." "You're an idiot." Basil didn't seem to mind the insult. Instead, he dropped the mop on the rug where it left a brown mark on the giraffe's nose, and he began to pick up the books, arranging them in a random order on one of the shelves. This was obviously not to Mrs. Danverglass' liking. She snatched them away and stood them straight up, but they kept falling. Andrew could plainly see that the shelf was missing a screw, which caused the entire shelf to tilt. One thing that Hannah liked about being a ghost was that you could go wherever you pleased, and the library was no longer pleasing. She was going to do some exploring. She was no longer frightened of Marla because, after all, it was daylight, and she had never heard of ghosts appearing in the daylight. But maybe that wasn't one of Andrew's ghost rules. But Hannah supposed she would learn that soon enough. She decided she would settle in the 6th grade, which was where she had been before her education had been so rudely interrupted. So she soared up 2 floors, colliding with the girls who were marching up the stairs. One of the girls was an attractive brunette who someone called Summer. Summer swatted at Hannah as though Hannah was a pesky mosquito. Hannah decided to follow her because Summer was the sort of girl Hannah had always wanted to become. It soon became apparent that although Summer was a very pretty girl with her wavy chestnut hair and her bright blue eyes, she wasn't a very nice girl. The moment she stopped at her locker, she began whispering to a friend and pointing in the distance to a girl with wild-looking black hair and red glasses. "Just look at Beatrice's shoes. She's so weird." So Hannah did look at Beatrice's shoes, which were very respectable Mary Jane's, although maybe Beatrice could ditch the yellow socks. All the other girls were wearing ballet slippers, black, gold, or silver, with little diamond bracelets embracing their ankles. No socks. It flashed against Hannah's mind that maybe she could teach Summer a lesson or two. After all, what fun was it to be a ghost if she couldn't put a good scare into mean people now and then? She followed Summer inside a small but cozy classroom bathed in white. White desks, white boards, white chairs, even a white tile floor. The teacher stood by the door, welcoming the girls with a rather phony-looking smile plastered on her face, a smile which didn't extend to her cold, dark eyes. Looking at her, Hannah was reminded of a witch's hat. She was dressed all in black, black pants, black sweater, and black ballet shoes. Her face was long and pointy, and her hair had been dyed a shoe polish black. She waved her long, spider-like fingers in the air. She was talking to a glum parent who was holding a squirming toddler. Evidently, Casey had flunked her algebra test. Hannah noticed that Beatrice sat slightly separated from the rest of the girls. Her desk was in the corner, and while the rest of the girls chatted about their fledgling modeling careers and their latest weekend plans, Beatrice opened a sketchbook. Hannah was shocked when she saw what Beatrice had drawn. It was a ball gown in shades of pastels, pink, yellow, blue, violet. The dress was breathtaking, and Hannah thought that Beatrice probably had a lot more talent than Hannah had ever possessed in life. But maybe not in death. Maybe, just maybe, Hannah could help Beatrice, and the thought that Hannah now had a goal, a purpose, made her feel something akin to joy. She watched as Beatrice took out a case of markers from her desk. She reached for the lime green one, but Hannah thought the mint green would look better on the upper torso of the dress. She moved the lime green one to the end of the desk and pushed the mint green one closer to Beatrice. Hannah could tell by Beatrice's expression that she was puzzled by the sudden movement, but she picked up the mint green marker anyway. What happened next was so sudden that Hannah was blown off of her feet. With a loud and oddly eerie noise, all of Beatrice's markers fell off the desk, scattering on the floor. Her lovely drawing flew into the air and landed in the trash can. The little boy, who had been itching to get out of his mother's arms, won the struggle and hit the floor with a bang, scrambling to his feet. He pointed towards Beatrice and started screaming like a banshee. There was little doubt in Hannah's mind whom he was pointing at, and it wasn't Hannah. Because Hannah knew that even if she couldn't see her, Marla was in the room. And if Hannah was going to help Beatrice, then there was a very good chance that Marla would destroy them both.